Welcome back everyone. So in this video I will be discussing about UVM Report Catcher in details. So let's begin. So between your UVM reports and between the process of it being printed on the console, there is a way that you could just catch the report after the simulation run, and you could do the modifications and then you could pass it to the report handler. So let's say you run the simulation, and uh, then it is passed to the handler, which just prints the report of the transcript. So between this, you could just catch the report. You could catch the report, and you could change the characteristics of the report. So there's a way that you could intercept the report midway, and you could change the characteristics such as ID, severity, action, and message. And for this, we will create another class uh, which will have a sole purpose of replacing any of the characteristics. So let's say my primary target is to catch all the UVM info report or the reporting macros present inside the driver class, and I will change the severity from display to UVM error. So all the UVM info present inside the driver class will show UVM errors. So we could do that later after the simulation run using the UVM report catcher. And also using the report catcher, we have two functions. Either we could catch the report, which will suppress the report and it will not then pass the report to the handler, or we could just throw the report. So throwing is basically modifying the characteristics. As I have mentioned, I will be replacing the severity of all the UVM infos present inside the UVM driver component with uh, 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 the simulation action with the severity with UVM error. Then after that, it will throw it and pass it to the handler, and then it will get displayed on the transcript as a UVM error. So there is also a way of replacing the format of how the report is displayed. For example, for a UVM info report, the format will be something like this: that the location of the file, uh, your working directory, and then the name of the file, let's say test.sv. Then after that, you will have few more things. Then you will have your ID. Let's say the ID is driver, and then you will have other stuff like line number. Line number will be here or like in the beginning, and the string message, so etc. So you could also change the format in such a way that you could make the driver to appear after the string message that will be displayed. So that could be done using the UVM report server, but in this video I'm going to discuss UVM report catcher. So you could also change the format using the report server, and you could have multiple UVM report catchers, but you could not have multiple UVM report server. And also when you want to replace the verbosity using the UVM report catcher, uh, the verbosity can be made higher, but it cannot be made lower. So let's say inside our UVM driver we have the UVM info and the verbosity is UVM medium. So using the UVM report catcher, we could change the verbosity of UVM medium to UVM high or UVM debug, UVM full or UVM debug. But you cannot, it will be wrong. You cannot make it lower. Let's say to UVM low or UVM none. So that is one of the limitation of UVM report catcher. So without any further delay, let's begin with writing a separate class for UVM report catcher. So for that, uh, I will create a separate file and let's call it rpt underscore catch. And of course, it should be of .sv extension. So our report catcher object should extend UVM report catcher, which is present inside the UVM library, and it is an object, not a component, by the way. So first we will do the factory registration, and since it's an object, we will use UVM object utils. And then we will write the constructor function. And I will explicitly call the constructor of the parent class. And then this is the main portion of this particular object. We have to use a function called catch, and the return type of that function will be an enum, which is action underscore e. So should be a virtual function, and the return type should be action underscore e, and the function should be catch. Then we will end the function. And inside this function, we will write a very simple if condition. So since we are targeting all the UVM info reporting macros present inside the driver component, we will use few methods. So there's a method to retrieve the ID, which is called get underscore ID. So you will use that method. And if ID is driver, which will be in our case since we are using get type underscore name, uh, if it is driver, and if severity is UVM info, and for that we will use get severity method. So if ID is driver and if the severity is UVM info, then we would simply set severity by using the set underscore severity method, and inside its argument we will pass the desired severity. So our target is to replace the severity of the driver component with UVM error. So we will do that. So it will just track the reporting macro with the ID of driver and with the severity of UVM info and replace the severity with UVM error. So after that, we have another crucial step. So we have to return, since there's a return type of action E, it could have two possible return values. The first one is throw. I will write it right here so prevent any confusion. So in our example, we would be returning it to the transcript. So we will be using throw. And the other one is catch. Which would just catch it, and it will not pass the report to the UVM handler, report handler. So this time we are using throw, and again uh, it will just get all the UVM info present inside the driver, and it will replace the severity with UVM error. Let's save the code, and let's mention this class, the handle of that class inside our UVM test component. So the name is this, and let's call the handle as catcher. So after that, we have another crucial step to make this work. We have to use a method which will indicate that this particular class is targeting a certain hierarchy and it is replacing the report of that hierarchy. So for that, we have to access a method which is present inside the UVM report underscore CB. So you just have to write UVM report underscore CB, and you have to use the scope resolution operator to access the method add by name. And inside this, we will have three arguments. So first argument is going to be in string, and it is the desired hierarchy in which you want this report catcher class work. So since we are targeting the driver class, so what we will do, we are right now in the UVM test top or UVM test component. We will just do sort of wildcard reference in which anywhere down the hierarchy, if we have a handle of D, and it is because inside our, let me open my monitor class. Oh, not monitor, the agent class. So inside my agent class, the handle of my driver is D. So for that reason, if anywhere down the hierarchy, this basically means if anywhere down the hierarchy we have a handle of D, then it will work for that particular hierarchy. So the second argument is going to be the handle of the report catcher object, and in our case it is catcher. And the third argument is going to be the context from where the search starts. So it's the context. So let's say we want the search to get started from environment, and environment is what is the handle of environment? It is E. So the search will start from E, from that hierarchy. So each three of these arguments are very important. So remember to use them appropriately. So right after this, we are done, and let's see whether we are able to replace all the UVM reporting macros present inside the UVM driver. So since we have 10 sequences, there are going to be 10 occurrences of this UVM info, and as per our method and the UVM report catcher object, the UVM infos of driver component will be replaced with UVM error. So let's find out. Before that, I will also add the report catcher file inside my package. Let's include it here. So this way, this will also get compiled. Let's try to compile the code. Okay, we have some error. Okay, it is at line number 1 of our report catch object. Okay, yeah, this should be extend. It's a typo. And also before that, I forgot the most important thing, and that is to create the object by using the create method that we do for every subcomponents. So we also need to do it for the report catcher. So let's compile the code again. Let's start the simulation. So let's see what is happening right here. So you could see that uh, we have 10 errors, and it is obvious that all of those 10 errors are the UVM info uh, for which we replace the severity using the report catcher uh, object. And we also have a catcher summary right here. So, so this one, I think this summary depends on the number of report which were caught and were not thrown to the UVM report handler. So let's see what is happening. So yeah, as you can see that all the UVM info reporting macros are replaced with UVM error. And I mean, all the UVM info reporting macros of the driver are replaced with UVM error. Rest are same. You could also see it right here. Here. So this is what could be done for the throw. And also, this is not catch. This is a typo. This is caught. So there is an enum called action E, and it has three values. The first value is uh, a non-action, and this is the default value for action E if it is uninitialized, and you should not be using that. And the other value is throw, which we have already used, and the another value is caught. So let's just go ahead and use caught this time, and let's see how will it affect our simulation and our summary on transcript. So this time I will catch all the UVM info reporting macros present inside the driver class, and instead of throwing it to the handle, I will just catch it. So let's see what is happening right here. Okay, as you can see, we still have 44 UVM info messages, which means that we are not seeing any of those UVM info reporting messages from the driver class. So here we were supposed to get the UVM info from the driver, but we are not seeing any UVM info from the driver. So as I have mentioned earlier, what the caught method did is that it catches the report in between the simulation and the handler, and you have the option either to throw it to the handler, which will be the case for most of the time, or to catch it and suppress it. So by catching it, it just suppresses it, and you will not see it inside your report. So it is kind of uh, a sort of equivalent of what we do when we replace the simulation action with UVM no action. Also, besides this add by name method, we have another method. Uh, so this one will target all the uh, all the components which have the handle name of D. So there could be multiple agents, and on those multiple agents, let's say agent 1 and agent 2, each of them could have a driver handle of name D. So this one basically targets multiple component. But if you want to target a specific component uh, through the hierarchy, so there is another method for that, and that method will still be accessed by UVM Report CB, and it's the add method. And here we will have to mention the entire hierarchy. So inside our environment, we have the handle of agent, and inside our agent, we have the handle of driver. So it will have only two arguments. First argument is going to be the entire hierarchy, and the second argument is going to be the handle of the UVM report catcher object, which is catcher in our case. So let's just uh, change back to the throw method. So let's see whether this works or not. Okay, this does work. As you can see that all the UVM info of driver is replaced with UVM error. So yeah, so in the case of multiple agents, if you want to target specific particular hierarchy, then you should use this one. Or if you want to target multiple agents in which there are multiple drivers that have the same handle name, then you should use this method. So I hope you find this lecture on UVM Report Catcher useful, and stay tuned for more. Thank you so much.